I'm going to quickly show you ReeFi LED user interface. First, you enter in the IP address shown on your lights on the display screen. And then here you load up the interface on your browser. The first thing you see are the graphical interpretation of the settings, of the schedule settings. And then here, the now bar show you exactly what the light is doing at this time. And then each of the other bars are your program schedule. So for example, I have morning starts at 9 o'clock. And then you can see down here the ramp time. So it takes 90 minutes. I set it for 90 minutes ramp. So you'll finish ramping from the previous settings to 73 watt from starts at 9 and then it finishes at 10:30. And then these are the next settings at 10:30. I want it to ramp 30 minutes, starts at 10:30, so by 11 o'clock you'll get up to 101 watts and so forth. The settings here you can also enter in cloud. So here you set the maximum cloud, and then this is the cloud factor for each channel. So if you, for example, if you set maximum 10% cloud, it will, and then here you can set the cloud factor. If it's 0, then it's not going to do anything because it's 0 times 10%. So you can set 1, and then it'll multiply. Will be up to 10% for this channel, and you can say 3 here, and then that'll be up to 30% cloud for this channel, and so forth. So anytime you make a change to a setting, you'll see that here it turns yellow. So that tells you that a setting has been changed, but it doesn't commit the change to the light until you hit save. So for whatever reason, if you change something and you don't like it, you can just hit refresh. Then it'll go back to the previous setting. And then the moon phase, moon is a little bit unique because it'll take into account a moon phase. So here you set the maximum setting that you want at a full moon, and then it'll automatically calculate the moon phase. But for here, because the setting is so low, it's hard to tell. Let's say it's harder to input data. So instead of like saying 0.2% or something like that, you might want to click on the percentage sign, and that will give you, instead of going from percentage, you'll go to levels. Percentage is from 0 to 100%, and then it does take into account decimal points. And then levels go from 0 to 1023. So here you can enter small numbers more precisely if you use levels. And for now we'll go back to percentage view. So I don't want to commit to any of these changes. I'll just hit refresh again. So all this time I've been making changes to just this one light, because I entered the IP address for one light. And then as you can see here, I've already grouped a bunch of other lights together. So what I've done is I group all the ReeFi dual extreme under Korean 1. So if I click on Korean 1, I can change all the extremes at one time. And then Korean 2, I group all the ReeFi Uno 2.0 Pros. So under the now bar, you have 6 quick profiles. So the profiles are under each bar settings. You can set the settings under profiles. So you can select one of these profiles, and then you can change the profile as well, and then you can change the profile name, like new 2 or 3 or something like that. And then so you'll see it reflect here. You can change the time by clicking on time. Let me go back real quick. So under now, there's a few presets that I've done. So I can do LSPS photos, so it'll turn it really bright. These are just some preset settings that I have done already. So you can see that these make changes to the only the dual extremes because I selected the Crayon 1. And then if I select the Crayon 2, and then these are the settings. These now it'll just affect the Uno 2.0 Pros. So if I click on any of these, then it'll just reflect those 3 lights. So every time you make changes, you'll see that now is in manual mode, and then the countdown is 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, it'll go back to its scheduled program. Or if you want to resume earlier, you can just hit resume program, and then it'll ramp to whatever it needs to be at 10:30, which is 23 watts. So you see it's slowly ramping back down to 23 watts. And then the now also tell you what program schedule bar that it's running at right now. So right now it's doing morning because it's 10:30, and between 10 and 11 it's going to be running the morning bar. So if I click on Crayon 1, you'll see that it's still in manual mode from previously when I click on these settings. So if I can hit resume, you'll go back. And the lights also do acclimation mode, so you can acclimate your lights. So right now it's at 100% for 0 days. That means it's going to run each of your program settings at 100% of whatever your setting is. So let's say I want to acclimate it to 70% for 45 days. And then what this will do, if I hit save, what this will do is reduce the intensity for each of these bars by 70%. Starting today for 45 days, and then as the days count down, the intensity will go up. So by the time it goes down to 0 days, the acclimation intensity will go back to 100% of these settings. If you want to quickly remove acclimation mode, you can just put 0 days here and hit save, and then they'll change the acclimation back to 100%. So you'll slowly ramp back, or now it's in manual mode, so you have to hit resume, and then ramp back up to where it was before. So if you want to group your lights together, you hit group setup, and then when you first hit group setup, it'll be empty, and then you hit auto scan, and then sometimes you have to hit it a couple times auto scan, and it'll show all the lights showed up, and then you just give it Crayon numbers. So all the ones will be grouped under Crayon 1, all the 2s to Crayon 2, and so forth. And then when you hit save, you'll save to every single one of the lights here. So you don't have to enter in the IP address for each one and do this. You just do it one time, and it'll save to every single one. So I can enter a different IP address, and all of them will show the same interface now, because when you hit save, it goes to every single one of these lights. So when you want to control them as a group, you click on the Crayon 2, for example. It'll control these 3. If I want to only control the middle one, then just click on this one light, and then you'll show here now you're only controlling one light. So for example, I can change the settings here for one light, hit save. The yellow bar, whenever you make changes, remember the yellow bar shows up. So when you hit save, it goes away, and that's when the change has been committed. So now when I click on Crayon 2, you'll see that this light now is highlighted because it's different from the rest. So if you want to, this way you can tell if all the lights on their Crayon 2 have the same setting or not. And then if I want to overwrite this middle light settings again to match the rest, I hit a Crayon 2, and then I'll just hit save again. So now all the lights should have the same setting, so that the now will ramp back down to um, what it's supposed to do. See, so you always have to hit refresh to see the latest setting. Um, the reason I do this is because if you're running on a mobile app on your phone, I don't want it to constantly refresh. It'll drain your phone battery. So this way, if you need it, if it's been a while since you have it up, you just hit refresh again to see the latest settings. So now under advanced settings, Wi-Fi config, you only have to do this one time on initial setup. So follow the documentation that came with your light. Basically, you just select the Wi-Fi you want to connect to and then the password and hit save. Set time and date. This is if you're connected to your home Wi-Fi with internet, you want to leave the time and date blank. If for whatever reason you accidentally click on copy browser time and date, or if you enter it manually, you can click on clear to remove it. And then this is only for people that don't have internet connections, so you have to enter in the time and date manually. Otherwise, just leave this blank. Otherwise, you'll have a offset over time. So leave this part blank. And then the time zone for here in Washington state, it's Pacific Standard Time, -8. And then if you're in the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time is -5 in the US. And then you can enable, disable auto daylight saving. And then you can select your daylight saving region. So here in the US. And then when you hit save, it'll just sync the time. So now it's 10:30. Info just show you what the light is doing. Just some information, basic. The name of the light, the version it's on, what Wi-Fi is connected to, and then what the fan is doing, and then the temperature, the set temperature, and then the current temperature, and then when the first was turned on, and then the runtime. This is current time and date, and then the runtime is how long the light has been running since the last time it was rebooted or turned on or powered on.
You treat LED settings. Here, there's a couple of pre-settings, and I'll probably add one later on. And then you can save your current setting. So let's say settings, this is for SBS 10 using Windows 2, and then you can save, and then I'll save it to a file. So for Windows, you save it on the download folder. So you'll find this file in the download folder. So if you want to reload it, you can choose file and then go to your download section, and you'll see this file and you can load the settings.
Demo, basically, let me just do all the Acclimation 2. So if you can select Acclimation 2 and then hit demo. And then demo is lightning mode. It's my friend asked me to set this up. I don't want to put this in the program schedule automatically because this can scare the fish, and if you're not there watching it, I don't want the fish to jump out accidentally. And then OED display on and off, just turn on and off the display screen. System tool, here you can clear the group, so you can, if you want to remove all the group settings, hit clear. Power off and cool down. What that does is it just turns off the light, and then it spin the fan really high to cool the light off real quickly. This is if you want to take the light out for maintenance, and when it's really high, it's hard to handle. Clear Wi-Fi settings. Here you can disable power on test or enable it. So by default it's enabled, so when you first turn on, it will cycle through all the lights. But if you don't want it to do that, you can disable power on test. And here's to reboot.